Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy and I've had another tag. I've been tagged in the 10 crochet hook questions. So I've been tagged by Crafty Yarn Now with Darla, and I don't know actually who started this one. I was just a bit stumped then because I thought, I don't know who it was. Anyway, it's if I tag you at the end of this video, if you can call your video hashtag 10 crochet hook questions, that would be cool. So I'm gonna, at the end of the video I will tag some bobs, so if you hear your name, you'll know it's you. So question number 1, what is your favorite brand of hook? And so that's a hard one, you know. It is because I've been reviewing crochet hooks, and every time I get a set, with the exception of one, I've quite liked it. But I have to say, since I started using the tulips, I totally forgot to review it and just carried on and on and on. So that must mean something, mustn't it? It must mean that I like it so much that I've kind of just got in my comfort zone with those tulips. So the tulips that I've been using are Etimo and Rose. And out of the two, I think I like the Rose a little bit better because of the shininess of the neck. Let's call it neck. You know I hate the word shaft. So that's kind of more slippy, and so it's easier to crochet at speed. When I first used them, I didn't like the way they kind of angled down, but that was me, I think, getting used to those kind of hooks over time. I don't have any of those problems anymore that I used to have, where I slipped my stitch off. And if I do, then I tend to just give myself a little good talking to and start again and slow down a bit. So, yeah, I would say I really like the tulips, but I loved the Rico Designed by Me when I used those. They were one of my favourites. I really liked the Susan Bates, and I didn't mind the clovers. Now, the only problem I had with clovers was the fact that the, let's call it neck, it wasn't very long. And so it didn't really, I don't like a little stumpy neck. I like it to be just that little bit longer. I did have a Susan Bates which was mega long. That was a bit too long. So there's a fine line between too short and what's too long. So yeah, I'd have to say the tulips were at the moment. What's your favourite size? Well, a 4.5 is my go-to hook. If I'm using a 3-weight, which, as I've mentioned in my previous tag, we have an abundance of in this country. So that's the yarn hook that I tend to go for. Now, if the yarn I'm using, if it's a DK and I'm using and it's a particularly thin one, because let's face it, they all vary in sizes quite a lot. Sorry for fidgeting, I can't get comfy. Then I'll drop it down to a 4 or 3.75. But I would say a 4.5. But obviously, if I'm using you know, a 4-weight Aran yarn, then I'll drop it, I'll go up rather than drop it, rather I'll go up a little size. So it's going to be dependent on the actual yarn that you're using, isn't it? So, but 4.5 is my go-to for the yarn that we use mostly over here. Do you like tapered hooks like Boy or inline hooks like Susan Bates? I don't mind either. As long as they don't snag and split the yarn, I'm happy with whatever they are. It doesn't discombobulate me from going from one to the other. You know, I'm quite happy with whatever hook I'm using. In fact, a little a little confession, I didn't know there were different types. I just got on and used hooks. For so many years, I had not a clue that there were such a thing as inline hooks or tapered hooks. I just thought they were hooks, you know, that's what they were. Didn't know. So I just pick up and use anything. But yeah, I like them all. Number 4 is, how do you hold pencil grip or knife hold? Pencil. absolutely pencil all the way. And this is probably because I've been crocheting for a very long time. Sorry, I just moved my cushion. My mum taught me to crochet when I was around about 6 years old, and back then everybody did the pencil grip, everybody. And when crochet died down a little bit and then it wasn't popular anymore, and then when it came back with this resurgence, and a lot of people held it with the knife grip. And I'm always seeing, especially on Facebook groups that I belong to, you know, what is the right way to hold? And there was there's no right way, there's no wrong way. Well, I kind of beg to differ, because no, you can do it either way, and whatever you feel comfortable with is what you do. But everybody that I know who has had problems with whether it's elbow, shoulder or hand has all been a knife holder. It's because of the amount of movements involved. So repetitive strain injuries are more prevalent with people who knife hold. But personally, you know, that nobody did knife hold when I was learning to crochet. You know, I was taught by, I mean, if my mum was alive today, she would be about like 90 something, you know. So I was the baby of the family. I mean, she was too. So, you know, most of my relatives are older than me. I'm like old. So how does the style of hook dictate how you crochet? I guess so. It does, because, as I said, I kind of at one point review crochet hooks, and I haven't done any for a long time, but I did some that were Knit Pro Symphonies. They were beautiful hooks to look at. They were beautiful colours of wood, and it was just, they were stunning. But they were quite, I haven't got a hook to show you. Around the head, they kind of came out, I would say like a cobra's head, you know, that kind of, like a bulbous type of vibe. And they were also fairly sharp on the inner side, you know, where it hooks round. And so every time I was crocheting, it was splitting the yarn, slowing me down. And the larger the hook, the more rounded that head became. So I found that it was too round for the actual size of the stitch that I was using because of the hook size. So it would go in with a pop and out with a pop. It was hard to get in and out. So yeah, I'd say they do. But ordinarily speaking, if I'm using one of the hooks that's much of a muchness, then no. Do you prefer ergonomic or regular? Ergonomic now. When I used regular and I'd never touched one of those big fat hooks, I used to think, how can anybody crochet with that? And especially as some of them are quite fat. And I used to think, how on earth can anybody crochet with that great lump, you know? And then when I started to review the crochet hooks and I started using them, that was it. Now if I use the others, I find I do get an achy hand, because they're just, I'm kind of having to, you know, hold it too close. So prefer ergonomic hooks now that I'm into them. What are your thoughts on lighted hooks? I did toy with the idea of getting some, because sometimes we have power cuts here and they're quite savage, go on for quite some time. And I've got my neck light, which is over there, but I'm not sure that would be bright enough to see by to crochet. We do have an emergency light that stays on for 4 hours, gradually just gets dimmer, and it's not powerful enough to crochet by. So I don't know that the neck light would be. So I did toy with the idea of getting some, but what puts me off is the fact that the ones I've seen are quite plastic and can be bendy, and that's put me off of trying them. But I wouldn't mind actually having a go with them, see how I get on. Have you ever used a hook with an interchangeable head? If so, your thoughts? No, I haven't. So that's quite an easy one. Do you like projects that require small stainless steel hooks or larger hooks? I really don't use the smaller stainless steel hooks anymore, or even small sizes with ergonomic handles. I think the smallest hook I've used in a long time has been a 375. I made a project with that, and I haven't made anything smaller than that for a very long time. So I'd have to say larger hooks, but you know, by larger, I'm including 4s and 475, you know, 450s, 475s and 5s and that sort of thing. They're not the larger hooks, but those are the ones I kind of prefer using. If you could only use 2 hooks for the rest of your life, what brand and would they be and what size? Well, I would say, oh, that's tough, because I definitely would take the Tulip as one of them. And the other brand, it's really difficult. Clover Soft Touch. Clover Soft Touch, I say. Although they are stumpy. That's the only bugbear. What I don't like about when they're stumpy is not so much that if you've got a small hook like a 375 or a 4, that stumpy doesn't matter too much. But if you've got a chunkier hook, then the actual neck size doesn't get any bigger, but the yarn does. So then obviously there's less room to play on that hook. That's the bugbear that I have. So I would say, oh, that is tough. It really, it's a toughie. It is a toughie, because I'm more inclined to say Susan Bates Silver Loom. Yeah, that's what I would take. So I would have Tulip and Susan Bates Silver Loom. They're longer. I couldn't be doing with all that short stubby bit. So that's the questions then. All done. Who am I going to tag? I've got to read my own writing for this. So my tags are going to be, we'll have one big one. We'll have Christa from the SecretYarnery, if she's not already been tagged. And we're going to have Dana Wanderlust Crochet. And Granny D, Knit, Purl and Squirrel. And Ursula from OM Granny Square. Reggie from J Hook Crochet. And Crystal, the Yarny Chicken and Crazy Cat lady, who was the one who tagged me in this. So, and I guess from the other one I should have done Darla, shouldn't I? Considering. That's it then. Thank you for watching and listening to me babble away. Thank you for tagging me, and have a good day everyone. Bye for now.